Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please hit the subscribe. Now this start video. Chicago Fire Season 12, Episode 12, Relief Cut, marks a huge advancement in Kelly Severide and Stella Kidd's story, but I'm finding it hard to get enthused about it. The One Chicago franchise stands out from other Wolf Entertainment franchises while being a procedural by focusing slightly more on the individual narratives of its protagonists. This is especially true for Firehouse 51, where the stories of its members are frequently woven into the weekly cases. It's easy to assume that Taylor Kinney's Severide and Miranda Ray Mayo's Kidd are the two most notable characters on Chicago Fire, despite the fact that everyone has their own problems. Like a lot of chiehards, I'm finding it hard to recall Chicago Fire before the pair. Numerous characters in Firehouse 51 had romantic relationships with at least one coworker. However, keeping a pleasant relationship is difficult due to the nature of their work and the long-term format of the show. The most recent of Kidd and Severide's many problems occurred during the 2025 One Chicago crossover. However, Chicago Fire Season 13 ultimately resolves to advance their personal story after that, as the couple re-examines their position on having children. Despite being married since the Season 10 final, Kidd and Severide's narrative hasn't moved forward in a long time. I primarily attribute it to Kinney's unplanned hiatus in the middle of Season 11 and the shortened run the year after. I was opposed starting a family even back then, when Severide mentioned it in the Chicago Fire Season 12 final. A pregnancy plot that would give her agency was not what I wanted. I even hinted at the time that Kidd and Severide's marriage should be dissolved. Although I still feel that Chicago Fire did not adequately address the consequences of Severide's absence, at least Kidd will be the one to bring up the subject of having a child when it is brought up again. This allays my concerns of a major, unplanned pregnancy plot point that would cause them to become estranged. Chicago Fire can, in my opinion, maintain their narrative appeal without setting them against one another. However, when Kidd proposed adopting rather than getting pregnant, my enthusiasm was dashed. Even if it's still preferable to a pregnancy twist trope, the plot is clutched, particularly in One Chicago. You've been on the show for over 10 years, so I know that storylines and plots will inevitably be changed. Because they are interested in the characters' experiences, I expect that devoted fans will keep tuning in as long as NBC and One Chicago continue to come up with new twists. Nevertheless, it is completely uninspired to write another adoption narrative for Severide and Kidd at this time. This plot has been repeated numerous times, first with Matt Casey and Gabby Dawson, and then with Sylvie Brett. When it came to growing his family, Joe Cruz took the same path. In addition to Chicago Fire, Chicago Police Department Intelligence has also presented a similar tale involving Kim Burgess and Michaela. It did a fantastic job of ensuring that the mystery that accompanied it made it captivating. I don't think One Chicago can do another one that will be interesting enough for its audience right now. Although I like how Kidd's cousin's arrival in Chicago Fire Season 12 clarifies his reasons for wanting to adopt, the plotline as a whole isn't what I had in mind for her and Severide. One thing is certain when it comes to Chicago Fire: fans seem to cling most to the personal narratives. We are kept on the edge of our seats by the exciting, action-packed rescues and high-stakes cases, but what really draws us in is the human drama, their relationships, and their personal development. For many viewers, the focal points of this emotional journey are Miranda Ray Mayo's character Stella Kidd and Taylor Kinney's character Kelly Severide. You would think that I would be all for the concept when the couple's possible future together took a significant shift in Season 12, Episode 12, Relief Cut. But really, I'm not as thrilled as I had anticipated. It's difficult to recall a time when Severide and Kidd weren't at the heart of Chicago Fire's emotional journeys. They have become the show's romance. As a longtime fan of the One Chicago universe, I have witnessed innumerable relationships develop, fail, and re-establish in Firehouse 51. Still, the chemistry between Severide and Kidd is noteworthy. They have experienced many hardships, both minor and major, yet they have always managed to bounce back stronger. However, their story has recently seemed to be, well, kind of stuck in place, particularly now that they might eventually create a family. Chicago Fire isn't exactly known for handling happy endings very well. Let's face it, characters struggle to truly experience those picture-perfect moments because of the dramatic tension, firehouse politics, and ongoing emotional upheaval. I was therefore apprehensive when Kid and Severide started talking about the next significant phase of their relationship, creating a family. Why? Because it seemed like yet another clickhead plot that has been used on the program countless times. Kid and Severide are finally talking about having a family in Season 13. This is significant. Despite being married since the Season 10 final, their marriage has, at best, progressed slowly. It's not just chatter anymore, though. It's true. In the Season 12 final, Severide upped the subject of raising a family, which made me a little uncomfortable. On Chicago Fire, a newborn story may go any way. My greatest worry: that one character would become pregnant and the other would have to deal with the consequences, an all too familiar scenario. Since that plot twist has been used countless times, I didn't want Kid to lose her autonomy due to an unexpected pregnancy. When Kid mentioned adopting, at least in Season 13, I felt somewhat comforted. It felt more natural and consistent with her personality that she was the one putting out this suggestion rather than Severide pressing her or attempting to take control. In my opinion, this strategy is successful since it avoids the common pregnancy trap. However, and there is a big but, I'm still not thrilled with this concept. Why? Because the One Chicago franchise has previously featured adoption as a plot point several times. The entire adoption process has already been completed by Chicago Fire. It is, after all, a popular plot for growing the family, isn't it? We've witnessed it happen with Sylvie Brett, Joe Cruz, Matt Casey, and Gabby Dawson. With Kim Burgess and her adopted daughter, Michaela, the Chicago Police Department series also examined adoption outside of Fire. Furthermore, even if those tales were heartwarming and undoubtedly captivating, they weren't really innovative. It can become a bit monotonous after you've watched the same story unfold a few times. And that's what's causing me concern. Will Kid and Severide's journey be enhanced in any way by this story? Or are we only revisiting familiar ground with a fresh cast of characters? Adoption is, indeed, a deeply emotional concept. It's a lovely, transforming procedure. But it seems like a plot we've seen before in the context of Chicago Fire. To be completely honest, I was looking for something new, something that would really take the characters and the story to new, unexplored places. Yes, I am aware. It may seem counterintuitive, but after all my worries about pregnancy narratives, it's possible that a child becoming pregnant could be more intriguing than adoption. Listen to me before you start to question whether I've gone absolutely crazy. I believe a pregnant plotline might add additional intrigue to Chicago Fire for the following straightforward reasons. It creates fresh storytelling opportunities that haven't been fully explored. Pregnancy causes a lot of stress, particularly if it wasn't anticipated or planned for. In contrast to adoption, it introduces new tensions, emotions, and dynamics that might help the characters develop. I'm not supporting a haphazard, unexpected pregnancy that just so happens to cause friction between them. I also don't want to use that tired cliché. However, if the plot is handled carefully, it can be the catalyst the series needs to revitalize the characters and give their journey a more compelling and urgent sense. It would enable the authors to delve further into the connection between Severide and Kid, the demands of becoming parents, and the ways in which their personal lives interact with their demanding work at Firehouse 51.